That. Welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast, episode 179. I am your host, Supreme King, and join with me, as always, is my co-host, and his name is...
It's Chicago Mazes.
Alright, how is it going today?
Chilling, man. How you doing?
I'm actually ready to go past all of this stuff and get it back to normal. There was a lot of jam-packed stuff to write down, as far as like all these shows and stuff, but getting back to a balance would be really nice, because it was like this year, compared to so many other years, it was somewhat of a struggle just to balance so many other things, and I'm starting to get back to a balance overall in my own life. But like when you have 20 hours worth of shows that you got to try to squeeze in at the same time, it's just like, man, like it's impossible, it seems. But I was able to do it. So we're gonna play catch up on some of the other shows that went on while we were actually recording last week, and then I guess some of the news and stuff too. So, I actually wanted to do this in the order of importance, quote unquote importance, or at least relevancy for the sake of the people. So I actually want to start off with the Xbox Summer Games Show, or Summer Showcase. And because I actually have quite a lot of things that I had wrote down from here. But with this particular show, it seemed like it was like half the old mindset, half the new mindset. And then we saw Asha Sharma. We didn't see any Phil Spencer. I think Phil Spencer is quietly gone now. But they started it off with Gears E-Day and showed quite a bit of a portion to this, even though they were going to do this again at the end of the show. With a full-blown presentation, but they gave us about a good 5-10 minutes of this, and it looks great as always. This is set to come out in October, I believe October 6, 2027. Game Pass Day 1 release, and Asha Sharma went out there and mentioned that this was going to be a console exclusive. The internet did kind of take this and turn it into a bigger deal than it really needed to be throughout the week. Funny enough, they had a console exclusive go on their screen a few times before. If I remember correctly, 2021 and 2022 they were doing that. But I guess people are taking them more serious now. But anyways,
I think
Gears,
also
yeah,
with the idea that like the franchise seemed to go to the other console, and now they're going back to say no.
yeah,
Right? Like before when they did it, it was games. It seemed like some of them that were like something new coming out, and they were mentioning that it was console exclusive, versus like they just put Gears of War on PlayStation, and now the new Gears of War are like, nope, no more PlayStation.
So I
why.
guess to give some context too, because it was starting to come out later, where people were saying that they were starting to burn bridges with PlayStation a little bit, because apparently they had came to the conclusion to pull everything from the other platform that they could without breaking any contract that was in place. If they were going to break contracts, they would have had to pay fees on top of it, apparently, and just chose not to do that. But it sounded like they wanted to pull all the games that are still set to come out on PlayStation but haven't come out on PlayStation yet. And one of the stories that had came out, I guess the Halo game was actually supposed to be on the PlayStation State of Play's like presentation, and it got pulled from the presentation, which generated all these other stories because of what they were doing. And so I would imagine all the releases going forward next year and everything is not going to feature PlayStation. Probably Nintendo as well. But that was just one of the things. So they wanted to really do this whole reset. Asha Sharma had been talking about this reset thing. In her mind, it's going to take her 90 days to do, or not 90. She said 100 days, 100 days to do so. So we'll just see what she has to say. Now, Gears of War, just as a game, it looked great. Very,
Yeah.
very fantastic game. I look forward to it. Origin story before the first set of Gears. And you can you can get into the story and see everything leading all the way out to, I guess, Gears of War 5. Dope. um I do plan to get into the series and play all of it. I don't know if I would start with that right away. Maybe it might be one of my main games for next year. But yeah, Gears E-Day was dope for sure. Fable, I guess, showed up again here, where they pretty much were
Yeah.
just telling you, hey, this is coming out in February 2020, February 2027, but February 23rd 2027. You got something you want to say on that?
Not just the game looks great. I know some people were blowing up about Haley Atwell. I think she looks great in the game, and I like that they were able to show off like the villain, and it seems like it's going to be one of those the villain thinks they're the hero sort of stories, which is always fun for a fantasy setting. Like, game looks good. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it does look good. Um, it's cool that they have releases. I think these releases should be spaced apart like this a little bit. Gears is in um Gears is in October. This is in February. According to what I see on my paper, the Halo game is this upcoming July. Halo campaign Evolve. So that's the one. I had just actually played that game a few years ago when it was called Combat Evolved, the original, which was still cool. I could see why it was ahead of its time a little bit, but it was kind of dated playing, a couple years ago. Graphics, it looks good. I will say that. Um, but I mean, I would rather, and I think they're going to do this anyway. Just focus on the next Halo. I'm not really here for all of the remakes and remasters unless it's like real, like remakes. Like, it's just reworked from the ground up. This one don't really look like that. It looks like just the graphics was reworked from the ground up. Maybe some of the controls, from what I could see. But it's Halo. Halo's got a little bit more of a buzz right now for this title. I think it still has something to do with the taboo of it. But if they're going to do 2 and 3 again, I guess it's just going to be a console and PC exclusive, or however they do it. But how you feel about that? Halo Combat Evolved. Or not, no, I'm sorry. Campaign
Got
Evolved.
to the Halo series because I was a PlayStation person.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I was always a PlayStation kid, so never really got into Halo, but it looked good.
All right. Resident, a Plague's Tale story. Completely, well, I don't say completely, but a big difference from your Plague's Tale gameplay. This one has a lot more combat, a lot more going on here. I do plan to finish the Plague's Tale series because I kind of just started it and then kind of like wandered off. It's not really the main event type of a game. It's like something you might pair with a good game. Not that it's not good, but it's just not as like grand. Um, but this one is going to be coming out August 28th, 2026. Another Game Pass Day 1 release. And I look forward to seeing what it does. Um, all right, next thing I actually have on here is Persona 4 Rival. Revival. Golden is nowhere in this title.
No,
It
so it's
does.
not based on Golden. It's just based on the original Persona 4.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So like they took the bobblehead thing away
Uh huh.
and made everybody regular size.
And the combat looks way more like Persona 5.
Uh-huh.
Um, like it's a lot more stylish and everything because I started playing through Persona 4 Golden and everything, and you'll notice that like, it's very like the sprite kind of like walks forward slash like the old school
Mm-hmm.
style, or even when they do the whole everybody jumps them move, the all in, they kind of just run in and then it's just a giant like cartoonish like smoke bubble, right? Like the dirt cloud
Yeah.
as they fight. Where in this one, it's way more of the stylish like attacks and everything. So they really made it look more like Persona 5.
I had put Persona 4 down for a little while. I know I mentioned before it had something to do with the de novo thing. But I was really deep into it. I don't know if I'm a little torn whether or not I would want to either just finish it on the Steam Deck or go for this one. Um, the de novo thing really was a pain, to be honest. It's not too much of the game's fault; it's more the developer's fault. But here's this new one. Everybody looks a lot better. There's no more bobblehead, 3DS bobblehead or whatever. Very, very highly critically acclaimed franchise in this genre. Um, and I think they've built themselves a solid foundation in turn-based gameplay that last generations. And so this game will be $70, $69.99 for this remake remaster thing. And I already kind of expected it to not be complete based on some of the other titles. Persona 3 Reloaded is a good example of that
Yeah.
too. They had their DLC things like maybe 6 or 7 months later. I expect this to kind of do the same thing, and then you kind of just wait for the sale, judge out the value of it. Metaphor Refantasio, from my understanding, is complete. I haven't heard anything being added to that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they have the franchises and stuff like it'll last you a long time. Even if it's not complete, it seems like this is going to last you a really, really long time. I remember how long these gameplay loops were. Because when you're just looking at a bunch of text and stuff and it's back and forth and they're standing there, I mean, you could put as much gameplay in there as you can, if that's how it's based. But I'll see. We'll take a look. I'll see how that performs and stuff. This being day one in Game Pass, along with also Persona 6 being day one in Game Pass, is probably one of the biggest gets that Game Pass could get as a deal. And we'll talk more, I guess, about Persona 6 in a minute. But yeah, Persona 4 Revival. I look forward to it. State of Decay 3. That actually looks, it looks kind of fun. That looks like, it looks like the stuff we be playing. Little survival horrors and stuff like that. I will say now that we're seeing more of the gameplay of it, it looks way, way less graphical compared to their original teaser that they put out in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, which was really just a big cinematic thing. That's why I don't really care too much about those teaser trailers, because it's never really representative of the final product. But as a game, it still looks pretty good. March 2027, I believe, is when it's going to be released. Another day one Game Pass release, so that's going to be cool. What are your thoughts on State of Decay 3?
Not much. It looked good. But I never really got into the other ones, but it looked okay.
Yeah, big zombie game. Just like a lot of the zombie games. So hopefully it's a cool hit. I remember some people console warring online, and I remember this one dude sort of made a name for himself at a point because he claimed State of Decay 2 was better than God of War, and it like pissed off so many PlayStation heads. And it was just kind of comical to see them go back and forth. But anyways, Metro 2039, I believe this is the next title. First person shooter comes out February 2027. It is what it is. I don't know if you saw that one. That one's just your standard first party. Say it again.
I said I did, but I never got into the other Metro games either. So look good.
I mean, it's a shooter. It's a shooter. So I mean, it is what it is. I actually popped for this next one though. Wolong 2 Wings of Ember. I think that I scribbled over that.
Yeah.
Hot title. Hot looking title. The hack and slashing is always some of my best gameplay loops. But it looked like they really decided we'll go in on this title and actually work on it. The first one is known for being like an unbalanced Souls-like that's balanced more towards the player than the boss. And then if you play co-op, everybody was in there jumping the bosses. At least in the very beginning, I don't know if they rebalanced it. No, it looked hilarious, but this looked like some hot combat. I was really into that. It looked like you could really, do some flashy moves and stuff like that. Did you see this? Any thoughts on this?
I did. Not really. Like it looked okay. Like again, I didn't get into the other one either, so it was just like, oh look, like it's happy that the franchise is still going.
I mean, the other ones I have on the list for the co-op. I do have that on the list. To play at some point. All right, Hellblade. Well, it wasn't called Hellblade. So, Senua is her name. That's the crazy chick that has all the voices in her head. It seems like, I mean, I would imagine this is the third game in the series. They didn't really specify, but I think it is. As far as, I don't think it's like an origin or anything like that, based on how she was, because I believe the first game was when she first was like in her crazy, but not as much crazy. But they dropped the Hellblade title from this and just went with Senua. They're saying it's a 2027 release. It looks like they're still working on the combat. Some people are hot and cold on the combat. The combat just looks like your standard over the shoulder combat, actually, at this point, to me. I don't know why anybody complains, but yeah, Hellblade as the crazy chicks. We love crazy chicks. You like crazy chicks? You like crazy chicks?
Doesn't like crazy chicks.
You doesn't like crazy chicks? What do you think about this crazy chick right here, Senua?
I mean,
you gonna date
I
her?
don't know. So I saw the trailer. There was a lot of gold, but my first thought was like, she ain't like get help yet. Like, I don't know, like I'm happy that it's still going though.
It looked like she did. She
really just going through it.
The way the trailer was on the one from when they first introduced the Series X for Senua Saga or Hellblade 2, it looked way more. She looked way more crazy into that one. This one, it looked like she was just kind of drowning in that liquid, and was giving in to some sort of spirit at the same time. I'm not really into the demonic stuff, to be honest, but I understand what it is for this game. And then she kind of just comes up and was just like, yeah, I'm like this more powerful being. I do look forward to it. I look forward to Hellblade. I like that it's a franchise that's different from your standard that you would get from Xbox, and you can like get into it and still play something like this on screen, which is Doom. But yes, Senua. It's no Hellblade, just Senua. I don't know. It's she turned over a new leaf or something. Now, Doom: The Dark Ages, that is on screen. I am hyped for this little expansion, which is right around the corner. Revelations. It looked like some different gameplay going on. You can take away the shield. The shield was known for the base game, but you could add some spears and stuff on there as well, from what I was seeing. This comes out July 7th, 2026, right around the corner. Dune is known for its fast-paced gameplay and stuff. Here, my gameplay, I wasn't really going crazy. I was playing on PC, but I was just kind of playing the story. as a first time player of the story for Doom: The Dark Ages, but I gotta say it is a very, very fun shooter and satisfying parry mechanic for a first person shooter. So I am very much into this. I will be playing that expansion when they drop it. Any thoughts on Doom, The Dark Ages, or Doom? I
Yeah.
guess it's a
So
franchise.
I think it's cool that they brought in the 2016 and Doom Eternal mechanics into it, right? Because
Hmm.
2016 was your normal run and shoot, right? Keep moving, keep shooting. Eternal was all about like being in the air, right? Like zipping around, jumping in the air. And it was way more vertical. And then the third one is way more like parry, like be a tank and have your shield and things like that. So it seems like from the DLC that they're showing, one of them he like when they kind of dropped the shield and he was going and he was just shooting. And it was very like Doom 2016. And then the second one when he had the spears, he was also hopping through the air a lot, so it was like Doom Eternal. So it seems like they're taking all of the gameplay from the previous ones and putting them together in this DLC until he gets his shield back. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, shout out to Doom. Doom, The Dark Ages. Funny enough, I actually put on my list to watch the Doom movie that had The Rock in it that everybody said was terrible. I never actually saw it, but it was on my list to kind of just watch one day with a couple other movies. All right, Crazy Taxi World Tour. This is a fan favorite, somewhat nostalgia thing for a lot of people, especially the people who were day one buyers on Dreamcast. With the original Crazy Taxi, Crazy Taxi is like a staple in the emulation community as well. When people are putting together their emulation devices, they try to make sure they have this game with it. But this one is a return to that, but for the modern console, brand new title, where essentially you're still doing the same thing. You're just running around in this taxi, dropping people off, making deliveries, and then that's just it. It's just that. Now, plenty of other games go more in the driver Grand Theft Auto style, but some people just simply want to run around in this yellow taxi. I look forward to it. It seemed like a game though for me that I will kind of just wait for it to be on the service. It's not as nostalgia for me, but it is fun to see something like that come back with a new game in this franchise. Any thoughts on Crazy Taxi?
Everybody got mad at first because when it got posted on Steam, Steam straight up said there was generative AI used in development. So a lot of people were quickly like, they used AI, like
They
reject it.
probably used the AI
Uh,
to like it. I didn't see when I saw it. I didn't see anything that was just like that new
the
and
directors
compelling.
explained it.
Yeah.
What they did is they said it was used to help the artists just come up with ideas. So they were using AI
Hmm.
to get an idea and then drawing kind of around it. Now there is issues with that too because AI kind of scans and steals art from like actual artists online. So if they're using it, that means their
Hmm.
ideas are kind of being stolen. So that's its own issue. But they tried to clarify that to be like it's not actually like in any sort of like part of the game. They didn't use AI for any of the voices. I do think it's interesting that a lot of that stuff has to be very explicitly said
Hmm.
now. Um, right? Like I've seen a lot of just trailers throughout the game shows where it'll be like, and no AI usage, or like Fable, when they even said they like confirmed that no AI was going to be used to voice any of the millions of characters in the game, right? Like all of the NPCs are voiced by people,
Hmm.
and everything. So it's crazy, like we're in a world now where you have to kind of specify that because they don't think to just use it. I always think it's weird when like these three-person indie development teams can like reject using AI, but these billion-dollar companies have to resort to using AI.
I mean, it is what it is. I guess. At this point, I think the people beating a dead horse. I got to the point where my job is kind of crazy. Like they almost forced it on us for every little thing. Like, we had this thing where it was like the AI is supposed to create a summary of like what we just did, and if the thing crashed, we just don't have no summary, but we still have to try to do it anyway. And it's been crashing, but they've been like putting their focus on the thing, and I'm
Well,
like, you
I'm not.
could.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I don't need to
I
rant
was gonna
about
say
that.
that like I'm trying not to do the "it is what it is" sort of thing because I've just been seeing it like for example there was that graduation, the college graduation, where instead of reading the names of people going across, they tried to use some AI like tool that would just read off the names, and then it messed up, and then they were gonna try and say we're not reading the missed names, is whatever, until everybody got mad, and then they went through and like they read them. But it's like you're
Yeah,
seeing that like it's when using AI tools is just like summarize this to a degree, like depending on what you're doing, right? If you got to read so much in like a very short period of time and you just use the AI to help give a summary real quick before you dive into stuff, that's one. Like if it's used to make the work easier, that's fine. If it's used to specifically replace hiring a person to do something because you're being cheap and you have the money to do so, it's fine. Or it's not fine. It's bad. Uh Again, that's where it's just like if it's like a two-person team and they use some AI for some of the like voices like and everything, I'm a little more forgiving than if it's a company where you could have been hired like people. Like and you have the funds to do it. Like you can't have a CEO making millions of dollars and then be like, we had to resort to AI. I refuse to accept it.
I honestly think it's about 5 years too early. They need to really work the kinks out of everybody's thing. Right now, it just comes off like the person who's selling it is scamming. That's kind of how it seems to me. But
That's how it should be because
yeah,
that's how it is. It's I don't know. Again, I don't like it where we're replacing people out of work to like do because again, it's if the company's hurting for money, again, like a small team that just can't afford it is one thing, but it's just you can't tell me we have to fire these people and we're automating it with AI to get it done so you don't have to pay a person, and then the CEO is walking around with $10 million salary, and when he decides to leave, he gets a $250 million severance package. Like you can't do that and then tell me we have to use I. Like that's just trash.
yeah, man, we can't be paying nobody else, man, or else he might have to get 249 million instead. That's no good.
Oh, that's
It's got
crazy.
to be 250. All right, 25-year anniversary surprise green translucent Series X. I guess they flashed it on the screen. There was some footage from I guess somebody's cell phone where Asha Sharma was talking to the crowd off air, or maybe she staged somebody in the crowd. Who knows? I don't know. But she pulled the Oprah. She was like, "Listen, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car," or at least said, you get a system or you get a system. So everybody who was in the show, they get the system when this releases, I guess. And I don't know how many copies it's gonna be. I don't know if they're gonna do like a whole 25,000 copies or whatever. But everybody in the show gets this for free. There was a lot of people who already was like making content with this thing, so maybe they allowed a lot of people to film it or whatever when they were there. I think it's dope. I honestly, I want to give. I know she don't got probably 100% to do with this, but probably partially to do with this. The Asha Sharma girl, I honestly feel like a lot of her moves were just common sense, but I do remember distinctively saying a while back, how did y'all come out, and this was Xbox, how did y'all come out with a translucent red and translucent blue controller and didn't do the green one? Do you remember me telling you that?
Yep. Yep.
And I was like literally waiting for the green one. Like that's the one I want. Like why would you come out with the other two? And it was also still during the times where everybody's like, all the games was going everywhere else and stuff. And they're not even paying attention to the Xbox fan base or whatever. And it didn't help that you had something that was just as simple as just making a translucent green controller and just not putting it out. And so they kind of just didn't do that. And then that series just was done. And then that was just the end of it. Well, now they put the full package together. Here's the controller. Here's the system. I guess it's probably gonna cost the same inflated prices as the rest, maybe more.
Oh
But
yeah.
at least it's out there. It looked dope. I mean, I already got my Series X. Um, and I do appreciate it. Now, if somebody come out with a dope little like cover, then maybe I might get a cover. But I don't see myself swapping out. I don't think I would get a second one on my computers and everything. I'm still kind of waiting for a Steam machine, technically. But yeah, dope little system. I don't know if you have any words on it. Still
Nope.
reminds me of it. Like they kept showing the original, but it also reminds me of like N64 when N64 was doing that. They put them out like a whole bunch of Skittle versions of those translucent
Yeah.
systems. Um, I have a lot of translucent stuff now, controllers and like emulation devices because of the nostalgia of that. But yeah, dope system. Minecraft Dungeons 2. Um, I actually like when I remember hearing about Minecraft back in the day and stuff. It seemed like one of those things where it's like so many people was into except me. Kind of still the same way. Maybe I'll try it one day. But this didn't look bad. Minecraft Dungeons 2.
Yeah, the story-driven attack, like this is a hack and slash one. Those are good. I tried the original,
Mhm.
couldn't do it. Like I was, it was like 2.5 minutes, and I was like, yeah, I'm done with this. Like it was just not for me.
September 2026 is when this comes out. September, October, and February are still very, very stacked months coming up for gaming in general.
Yeah, a little
Um,
too much. I actually saw a video about it, and they showed how it was like pretty much like 17 different games were releasing in September, and then like 15 were releasing in October, and three were releasing in November.
mhm.
And one of those, of course, is the reason why the rest are not releasing in November. Then the other two was like a remake, and I want to say like Barbie or something like that. Those are the Novembers.
All right. Well, let's move a little bit quicker. I didn't expect Nintendo footage to hop on the screen. Valor Mortis was another thing I wrote down. I honestly don't have any content on that. I forgot what that
It's like
was.
it's another Souls like.
Okay. Um, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Funny enough, it's still Flight Simulator 2024, but they announced the update. They showed off Where Winds Meet. That's another hack and slasher that I spoke on a long time ago, so it's just coming out just now. Then they did the announcement for Persona 6. It was kind of funny because it looked like it was in the graveyard or something. Like
Yeah,
it almost like a
but
horror based or something.
I think that means the whatever that like other world that they're gonna do for this one might be more
Hmm.
horror themed. So, four had the TV, five was your own subconscious. So I wonder if like six is gonna be like your nightmares or something.
Yeah, we'll see. Big announcement here. Spyro: A Realm Beyond. I
Yeah,
remember when the Crash game got its own other game. We didn't hear anything from Spyro, and I was wondering like, well, why did they do one without the other? They both got their trilogies released a while back, remasters with better looking graphics. But this is a brand new title for Spyro, completely new. It looks like it's look pretty good. Might be good for a whole new audience. I will still play it. I do
oh
think I'm gonna
yeah.
play it. What do you think about this?
It looked great. It's cool that they're actually doing something new and not just going like Spyro 1 through 3 remaster again.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm really happy that it's just something else. And then I will say though, even though we're moving quick, you did skip over one of the games that was I was interested in. It's called Magicians: The Devil's Deal, where it seemed like some magician was like murdered by like other magicians, and he's trying to get out of like hell, and like all these demons are chasing him down. It's like a first person, very like stylized shooter, but like the shooting is more like that Ghostwire Tokyo game. And it's
Okay.
like the running, so you're moving like a Doom game where you're constantly moving and shooting.
Okay. All right. Clockwork Revolution. I
Yeah.
think this was the other one that they just said, hey, this is only going to be a Xbox title. 2027 is when they're aiming to release this. It's a first-person shooter. Did you have anything you want to say on this?
Yeah, it looked good. It was nice to see more because it was like name dropped, I think, a while ago where they just kind of
Hmm.
showed a cover for it. I know some people online were not digging the humor of it. They feel like now that they got to hear it more, it just kind of killed the vibe for them. I think it still looks okay. I'm interested to see some more gameplay for it. It was
Hmm.
more just kind of introducing the characters in the world, but seems interesting. Very like it reminds me of the old ads for like BioShock.
Yeah.
Like when that used to get shown off, it's very like in that style.
I'm gonna be honest, because and this is where I lose everybody. The Bioshock connection is the reason why I don't like this.
That's fair.
That's
I've never played through the BioShock games, so
I'm the
like I
only.
don't have the hate.
I just that's the only reason why. Because that's I think what was the game you was just playing recently that I was showing? I forgot what it's called, but that's the other one that
Wait,
I'm
say it
like
again.
the game you was playing recently, or at least the footage we had recently. Um, that was also a Bioshock comparison. I
Oh,
forgot, but I
yeah, me
know it
too.
was either last week or the week before. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really connect with Bioshock, but yeah, we could move forward. I'm still gonna actually give the other ones a try because I own them technically on multiple platforms at this point. But the big like how it was just a big thing or a big deal, it didn't really land for me. I did like some of the twists though, but that was it. All right, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. I would at least say it looks like they're more returning towards your standard shooter. Like they're moving away from some of that weird horror stuff that really tanked them the last year. Um, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, I actually thought was just fine. I enjoyed some of the horror shooting and stuff, but did nobody like the Call of Duty last year, I guess. Well, this is just your standard Modern Warfare. And this comes out October 23rd, 2024. Last thing I think they showed right before they went back to Gears. Any thoughts on this at all?
Yeah, it looks great, but I mean, I feel like Modern Warfare always looks great. It
Hmm.
seems like it's all the not Modern Warfare ones that seem to have ups and downs. Like last year was Black Ops 7. Uh, and it seems like all of those, but I always hear like, and the ones that I've played through, I've always enjoyed the Modern Warfare one. So this one looks great too.
All right, cool. Uh, let's actually switch gears there. To keep up with my footage. uh, all right, Nintendo Direct. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I liked parts of this, but I really, I mean, really want them to move away from having the body of their shows being just ports. Like it is irking
Yeah,
me to ends because of that. But they actually started with ports. They started off with a bunch of ports. They had the show itself and then the treehouse that was afterwards. I did watch that as well. I think the treehouse is where you got a bunch of people kind of talking and they kind of show some gameplay and stuff. But they showed a bunch of ports, and then they showed the Donkey Kong challenges online, which I kind of looked at it as if it was achievements. And I'm like, okay, this is their way of trying to do achievements. I don't know why they can't just simply say, here's achievements, period, for their first party titles at least or something. But they did something to try to get you engaged in buying their online, I guess. And it was really with a series of Donkey Kong games from the past to the present. And then they kind of showed DK Bonanza as well with some content where you have like the Mario costumes and you can dress up the person on the shoulder with like the Luigi type costumes. He could have the Mario costume. That's the whole kind of thing in itself. Um, Before I move forward, so up until this point, because I know I just jumped really far. Anything of that that stood out to you? Any of those ports in the
uh,
beginning?
not really. Especially because they were just ports. Like, not really. Honestly, from the whole show, I only had two things. But
It was just ports. All right, well, we'll go to the
yeah,
next thing because I know you had this. Nintendo showed Lords of the Fallen 2.
I definitely
That
didn't.
it was gonna be coming out fall 2026. I mean, you can play it handheld now. You can do everything. How you feel about Lords of the Fallen 2, man? It's gonna be coming out on Nintendo Switch. It made headlines. This is so out of place too, but it's funny. It's like, okay, Nintendo showing some horror ish stuff. Your thoughts, man. Your thoughts.
It belongs in the trash. That's my thoughts on that game. It's a trash game.
It's not trash, man. You hating. You just hating. You just hating. That's all it is. Lies of P, the complete version. They showed this just after that. It's coming to the Switch 2 on um, August 6, 2026. The only reason I've mentioned some of these is like these are more relevant to what I care about, I guess. Devil May Cry, Devil Hunters Edition, coming to the Switch. What you got to say about this?
It's Devil May Cry 5. It's again, like, it's cool. It's so weird, though, that, like, some of
Yeah,
these
man.
games is, they've been out. And then it's just like, it's finally made it to the Switch. Like, I think it's hilarious, but
It comes out
hey, if somebody was waiting to play it on the Switch, there you go.
June 23rd, 2026, so just next week. I should say Liza P actually had two release dates. So the August release date is for, I guess, its digital version, and their physical version is going to be October 2nd, 2026. I don't understand why there's a gap there. I don't know. But it is what it is. Xenoblade Genesis. This might be one of the first new titles halfway in that they showed. Comes out 2027. I remember writing on my paper, not sold on the series yet. I think this might be the fourth or fifth game for them that you can get on the Switch, because they ported over some of the old ones, and then they had like the Xenoblade 3. It I'm hot and cold on it. Sometimes I look at it and I say, oh, it looks like it's fun. Other times I'm like, maybe not compared to X, Y, and Z. If only Nintendo existed, maybe I could see where that has its value, but there are other games that do what that does that I feel like is better. But yeah, this is their first game that they showed that was new on this show for them. Any thoughts on this? Xenoblade Genesis?
It looks pretty cool. It wasn't on my list. I mean, I want to get into that franchise, because all of them look kind of stylized and cool, and it seems like something I would enjoy. It looked alright.
All right. Nintendo Switch Sports Resort, where you play random sports games. Not to be confused with the Wii Sports. It's the Nintendo Switch Sports. You excited about that? That's one of the ones you wrote down. That was the second one. The first one was Lords of the Fallen.
However, it is good that they're still making these. These were kind of like, to me, for a lot of families, these were staple games. Like, I know people, like families that got a Wii solely for the Wii Sports stuff. So it's cool that it's still going.
Yes, throw your controller into the TV simulator. Still going strong.
Not if you wear the wrist strap like it informs you to do. It says it right at the beginning, and people just, I'll be honest, I also ignored it too. I would be like, do you have the strap, like the wrist strap on? And I'm like, yep. And then just like move on.
All right, Rune Escape, or RuneScape, I don't know. RuneScape's Dragon Wilds. I think it is Rune Escape. I don't know. I don't know if I wrote this down. I was writing it fast.
Yeah, RuneScape Dragon Wilds.
RuneScape's Dragon Wilds. I only wrote this down because I know somebody who was like really into this on PC. But that's, another port. Any thoughts on that?
So I'm not gonna get it on Switch. But it is one of the ones that I wrote down before for PC. It's my style of game. It's medieval kind of story driven. Looks cool with some co-op. I'm here for it.
All right, we got to see some more Star Fox They came out, showed us some more of that. They announced to the world that there's a demo coming out. The actual game will be released on June 25th, 2026. I do think I will cover it. I will cover it, at least 30 minutes of it, for one of the upcoming shows, maybe in 2 weeks. But yes, that's Star Fox. Star Fox, the remake of the original N64 game. Okay. This actually is one of the titles that I wrote down with intention to buy at some point. Final Fantasy Resonance. They usually do a good job when they throw the N64, well, not N64, Game Boy Advance looking titles out there. I like the color of it. I like this type of game in this form factor. I'm very much into the Game Boy Advance Metroidvania looking titles. This comes out October 22nd, 2026. Still a very jam-packed month, October. This is $49.99. Any thoughts on this game?
I mean, no, it looks really good. It kind of makes me want to go through, like, still go through the series. I tried going through it before when I was doing on kind of the emulation, but I started with like Final Fantasy 1. And it's a little too old school for me to get into, especially when I'm like about to go to sleep and I'm just like, all right, I got an hour before I really want to go to bed. Let me go ahead and try this. And it was a little too old school. But it looked really good. I'll say that.
I did write on the side. I just see this note here. Before this came out, I put 30 minutes into the show and I don't want nothing. I think that's what I wrote. So I was kind of negative, I guess.
So I guess I'll bring them up because we kind of, I think, skipped over them. The two that I had, it was Fire Emblem. Did that come up yet?
If it did, I didn't write it down. I didn't even pay attention.
All right, so
to
Fire
it, so.
Emblem Fortune's Weave. Again, I want to get into the Fire Emblem games. I never did, but this one just, they look very story driven and cool. This one looked cool. And then there was one that I wrote down, but I'm not 100% on it. It was called is Jujutsu Kaisen Rumble Survivation. It looked like that game Vampire Survivors, very stylized like that, which is because of the old schoolish look. It's not necessarily something I normally play. Part of this is really just because it's under the Jujutsu Kaisen name, and I'm a big fan of that anime. But it just seems like you're kind of just fighting a bunch of the demons and monsters and stuff as you grow stronger. And that old school, kind of like the 8-bit where you're kind of getting surrounded and you're constantly moving and fighting, the top-down sort of game. So I don't know if I'm gonna jump in on this game, but it was cool that Jujutsu Kaisen is getting extra stuff now, and it's nice to see an anime game that's not just a fighter.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's only Attack on Titan and that get it, and all the rest of them are just fighting games.
Okay. So they showed a teaser for the Dust Bloods, or the Dust Blood, and they said there was going to be a summer network test. So that's typically what From Software does. They'll test it out based on everybody jumping in and playing, and we'll see more about that. Very, very heavy Bloodborne vibes, but this is technically a different franchise. Splatoon Raiders, I don't have any stake in this. Big title for Nintendo though, and they will have a direct specifically on this on June 30th, 2026. I think I'll circle back to it and give it some more undivided attention there. But even with the Treehouse, they were showing this game again on the Treehouse. I wasn't really feeling it, to be honest. But Splatoon. They also show more Joy-Cons, more different colors, I guess. They had I think it was yellow and purple. And they got those set to come out July 23rd, 2026. And then some more ports back to back is what I wrote down. So I think they were just throwing them out there little by little. At this point, really though, when I start seeing a lot of ports and stuff, I don't even want to write them down unless I really like it. But I didn't write any of them down because it was just a whole bunch of stuff. This was classic Nintendo for their directs. But any thoughts on the ports? Any thoughts on the Joy Cons or any of the games I just mentioned?
Oh, cool that they're getting some more Joy Cons. But it's the I feel you with the port thing. Like I don't know. I just feel like when the majority of your show, and that's what it always feels like, the majority of your show is ports. It's like
The Star
okay,
Fox port is still, in my opinion, what they've done that correctly to me because that came from the N64, but it was reworked, added voice acting, worked on the gameplay, worked on the visuals and stuff. But a lot of them other ports is just direct ports from PC, and
yeah.
it's
And
not
that's what I
really
don't
like it's
like when
better.
it's just all ports or like, hey, this game that came out 3 years ago is finally coming to the Switch. It's like I didn't, this is kind of like if this was a small part of the show, like here's the quick port section, so you can. I was like that's different versus like the majority of the show being that it just feels like you ain't got nothing to show.
They really heavily relied on it, but then they showed and announced Kingdom Hearts 4,
Yeah,
which isn't a port. They did port the other three, but they
but that makes sense. Like porting the other
yeah.
three because you're about to do four, right? And there's probably some people, especially some of the kids, if this is like their first real system, like the Switch or Switch 2, they probably
Yeah.
didn't play the other Kingdom Hearts 3. So it's just like, here's this cool game with some characters that you recognize and Disney. And so there's probably a lot of people like, yo, what is this? And now they get to go play the other three.
Yeah.
Um, so to me, that port makes sense versus sometimes when it's and it's also I wouldn't necessarily mind a port if it's getting you ready for the next one, right? Like again, when I complained, even though this isn't Nintendo, but I think they brought it up in Nintendo, the Rayman Legends,
Hmm.
where it's like Rayman Legends remaster, but it's like, but you're not doing another Rayman, right? If you port it over the Spyro games because you're doing the new Spyro, like that's different than just like if you just did an old Spyro. It's like I want do something new with the IP as well, and if it's been a while, then you can port the old ones also, so people who skipped it can get into it versus just ports only.
Yeah. I do kind of want to give the Kingdom Hearts franchise a chance. I think I hit puberty before everybody else around the time that stuff came out and ignored it completely back in the day. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts is still a strong franchise, especially if you're into Disney. This is kind of a match made in heaven for you if you're into Disney because this is all the stuff put together and they all just coexist for the purpose of the game. Um, I will say if you owned one of the other systems, buying Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3 and some of those side pieces all in one package is very cheap on those other systems, and I don't think they're going to be that cheap here on the Switch. So I would probably prefer you go there before playing the fourth one. And now they showed their grand finale, which was a teaser of a remake of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina.
Ocarina of Time. I know this is a big deal on N64 for everybody that played it. I hadn't played it. I actually planned on playing like a PC port of it that was like up-resed. But I think, and I know I wasn't going to get to this in time anyway. I'll wait to see what the community has to say about this.
Yeah,
And I'll
so
see what that is about. But go ahead.
this is another reason where I say like like this is not that bad of a port. Like one,
Mm-hmm.
old game, right? Two, they're gonna be doing more Legend of Zelda stuff. It's not like, this they never did Legend of Zelda and this is the first thing they do and then you're never gonna hear from it again. It's like that they're doing Legend of Zelda stuff, so it's cool that they can bring back some of the old ones as well. For again, like newer audiences. And I know there's like rumors, nobody knows yet, but there's rumors that this could be one of the games that the movie that's coming out is based on.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know yet which one is going to be based on, but this is like one of the rumors. So it could be getting people like a fresh idea of that before the movie comes out. I'm not as upset with this port, even though again it's like all right, too many ports for the show. That's where it hurts it. But if this was like one of the 3 ports that they then it's like okay.
Yeah. Well, and here's where I get canceled. So afterwards, they announced they had a new president, CEO ish person for Nintendo, and they bring out this person who speaks English, and
It's
I
just
was like
some random.
annoyed, well, why didn't y'all do that from the beginning? Because y'all talking to an English crowd, and you had this other dude there. Like, yes, he a familiar face, but you would think he learned English at this point if he going. I don't know. I was just like, now you bring the English person out at the very end of this, right before you go to the treehouse portion. I was just kind of annoyed by that. I
I
was.
feel like they were more trying to. I think in their hopes they were trying to go. Do you like what we showed? All right, well here's this new like we have a new president. Versus if they said we have a new president and then now everybody's watching with scrutiny on what they show, and then if they don't like it, blame her.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just, I feel like they were trying to do it after the fact so people are excited, and then you're like, hey, by the way, but it seemed out of nowhere for me.
They just brought the person in because I know they got rid of the Doug dude, or at least he, retired, quote unquote, like everybody else. Um, but yeah, that person came out. They ran into the treehouse portion. The treehouse portion, they showed more Splatoon and more Star Fox. I will say, at least for the Star Fox part, the tank gameplay looked really good. Normally, I'm used to seeing Star Fox in a ship, not ship, in a, well, yeah, spaceship. But they showed him in the tank, and I'm not used to seeing that gameplay, but it looked really fun. That the controls on that looked really good. The Splatoon gameplay, it looked kind of boring to me. It just wasn't clicking for me. I think they had some other games that they showed that I didn't really write down. But did you watch the Treehouse portion of this? Did you see the gameplay?
I watched, but like was doing other stuff, so it's kind of in the background.
All right.
It
Well,
was
that was
okay. Like it just,
Nintendo.
yeah, I wasn't like into it.
That was Nintendo. I guess just to go along with it, we're finding out Nintendo and the Power World situation is finally about to go away. Well, at
Finally,
least I don't really want to. I know they're saying that there might be about $30,000 worth of fees or something that might get exchanged, which is nothing when you compare it to a company. I'm waiting for them to at least have the final verdict so it can be over with, and then I'll probably play Power World right after that. I hope that they could just bring back however their original vision was, because if that's all it was, it's like, come on, what was that? But yeah, that was the end of that show. I actually want to jump back, well, at least in my notes, to mention real quick the PC gaming show, 2026. Honestly, I didn't have hardly anything. I heard people trashing it, but it really is that one dude. Like, I know it's a couple more people on there that they have on skits, but there's this one dude, the bald white guy that's like a little bit older. I think this is his show, and he's in a spot where it's not going to change because it's his show. But dude got to read the room and revamp this thing. Like, those skits don't work. It don't excite you to the PC platform. The PC platform also seems a little bit more scattered. They don't have an approach to how they want to present their stuff. They're just kind of throwing stuff out there. But I didn't get anything except for the game. Funny enough, Slash Zero,
oh yeah,
2D fighter game, and it has like boss fights in it. That was the only thing I wrote down from that show. But I'll let you speak on it. Anything from
okay.
the PC
I
game
got a
show?
few things. One thing I didn't really like. So they were trying to really go with like, hey, were you a teenager in the '90s? Well, this show's for you. Like, is kind of what they did for the whole thing. Like, they even gave away a very retro styled PC and had to keep mentioning it looks like it's old, but it's a powerhouse. But they said it several times. And it's like, yes, I understand how old school cases like
Mm-hmm.
work. Like, you don't need to keep saying it, but like everything they did from the like sitcom like living room setup, a lot of the games looked older. The weird like it's almost like waiting for laugh track stuff and the way they were talking, like everything presented like it was 90s. They were really sticking with that theme. Which, I mean, I guess if you're going to go for a theme, go all in for a theme. I just thought it was a little out of place, but it also felt like this is year the PC game show was way more indie than anything double or triple A. I don't know if you caught that as well, but it really felt that way, which was weird because the weeks are filled with indie shows just for this one to also be an indie show. Like usually the Xbox, the PC, the PlayStation, and the Nintendo are a lot more like grandiose, and then if you want the cool indie stuff, you got the other ones. And this one just felt like indie as well. But the things I got, I'm gonna name a couple of them. So they had Serious Sam Shatterverse. It was like a co-op roguelike first-person shooter. But as part of, I guess, the Serious Sam universe that I never really got into those games, but the gameplay looked fun. It was a game called Gone Feral, which was very 80s style. Like, it's again a roguelike, but it was like a co-op, like you're like a killer, basically, and you can like go attack people. It was like 80s slasher film. They had, I will say that this show, a lot of the stuff they even wrote down, I'm not going to name all of them, but it seemed like it was all roguelikes. Like they were going crazy with the roguelikes in this show as well. I'll mention the Armistice, which was like a third-person, again, roguelike shooter, but very gothic themed, and you're like shooting down demons. But then the two that I was most excited, I'll start /0. The two that I was most excited about, Cassette Beast 2002. So Cassette Beast is another like like a monster catcher game, like your Pokemon style games. I really liked the first one. I'm still playing through it. But it was just like it was very Digimon-esque with the story. You kind of like wake up in this real world and it's like all these people displaced out of time. And you're trying to figure out what's going on, and you collect monsters and you turn into them, like you record them with like a cassette tape. Then you turn into them, and now it's getting a sequel. So I think it's really cool that it's getting a sequel, and I'm interested to see what new things they add to it. But the gameplay is pretty fun, especially for a Pokemon game, like style game.
Yeah.
And then the other one I wrote was Vampire the Masquerade Eternal Whispers. I kind of feel like this is what a Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines should have been. Like it's more RPG style, where it's a lot more like, you're talking and you're like kind of developing your own adventure sort of thing. It's very RPG, and it looks really good, so I'm excited for that.
All right. Well, that's that show. I put a show on here that I think was just, this is like the bottom barrel PC show, but it wasn't in the normal lineup. This was called V3Expo Gaming. Did you see this 3P Expo Gaming?
Yeah, I got one thing out of it, and it was barely.
I just thought it was very edgelord content, and it was just
Okay.
like where, like, I don't, it's like, where do you find these people type content?
Yep.
But yeah, it was just weird from the very beginning. But go ahead.
I saw a comment in the like little chat in the comment section, and I thought it made, like, it summed it up correctly, where it was like, this isn't indie, this is underground.
Yeah, it was just weird. Like it was something like, if I was a degenerate from like maybe 15 years ago, maybe I'd be into it.
Yeah.
But I'm in the real world now. That their skits was kind of weird with these weird people, and their weird faces and stuff. And they're just
apparently one person in the comments liked it. They're like, "Oh, these skits were actually funny, unlike like most of the things that happened this week." But the way he typed it, it was very, like you said, edgelord.
Yeah.
Where I was like, of course you just probably was like, women, woke, and then you got this, and you were just like, now this is true humor. Like, it did feel that way.
There was a spot 25 minutes into this show where they did a AI thing. I don't know, it couldn't have been real, obviously, but they got a shout out from Epstein himself, and he was shouting out the show, and then it cut back to the girl, and she was holding up a sign that said "Defiles," and
Yep.
she was just like talking about some of that stuff, and I'm like, they really turned that into like a skit, and they really AI'd him into like shouting out the show. I'm like, that's how deep this edgelord thing came, and I'm just like, that's probably why it was not in the official title anymore or whatever. So that was a thing. I did see a weird game that was like a VR cooking game, and I didn't write the name of it, but they spent a lot of time on this where I guess cleaning the kitchen and cooking at the same time as like dead rats on the kitchen table. You saw that?
Yeah.
Like it was a long time they spent on that. That was just a whole thing in itself. And then I remember like somewhere towards the end I don't know if this was a game or somebody just said this, but it was like they said big, bushy, and untrimmed. Did you catch that?
I did not catch it, but that doesn't surprise me.
It was just like that was just how their whole content was. And, that's all I had wrote down for this show. I didn't have anything else.
I wrote down it was one game called Awoken.
Mm-hmm.
And it was okay looking. Like out of everything, it was like one of the last games shown, and it was like first person. You're in a mech, and you're like shooting missiles and like shooting at other mechs and stuff. But it was just first person. So like you could see like the whale. It looked like it would be good as a VR sort of thing, but it's like you're sitting in the like mech. Now the only thing that was weird is I had one of your little like anime style like girls that's supposed to be like helping you as like the pilot and giving you information. So again, still very edgelord styled, but yeah.
All right. I'm gonna jump around.
Also, sorry, one more comment. I saw a lot of people mention that I was like, this thing was definitely for 4chan moderators, which that's a different breed of edgelord and basement dwelling, but like a lot of people agreed with that.
I mean, it was like your freshman in college for computer science.
Yeah. Yep. That is accurate. That is very accurate.
So, all right, I want to move forward real quick to just take a look at Epic Games. Epic Games is where they, provide you with 1 to 2 free games per week that you can claim for free. You don't have to have a credit card. You can just create your own profile, and then you can go and claim all of the titles that you see. And then afterwards, you can add them to whatever PC device you decide to use in the future. Oh, here we go. All right, I had to look for it on my page. All right, where is it at? All right, so from now to June 18th, you can go and claim the game, the Ouroboros King. I believe this is a chess game-ish with a little bit of extra stuff. There's the Warhammer's 40K Speed Freaks that I think we mentioned last week. This is more of an indie racer game with a little bit of some, twisted metal going on. Pretty cool looking title, actually. That looks like something I might actually want to check out. From June 18th to June 25th, you have Citizen Sleeper is one of the titles, and then Robo Beat as one of the other titles. I didn't really look into either one, but those are there as games you can claim next week. Anything coming from Amazon at all?
Nothing new, just the stuff that I mentioned last week.
All right, you want to talk about this game on screen real quick?
Yeah. So, this is one of the like, dang, I am blanking on the name of it. This is an old school. This is like an older one of the gacha games. It's free to play. Let me re-look up the name from it. The dude with the white hair has been getting popular. He's using a lot of memes and stuff.
Zenless Zone Zero?
That's it. Zenless Zone Zero. So, the word zero is popping in my head, but we kept mentioning /0. And I was like, that's not right. But yeah, Zenless Zone Zero. So this dude has gotten pretty popular, but the idea is it's very comic book stylized where you're like fighting all these monsters. and you have a roster of people, and you're able to just hit a button and switch in between them. So like the girl, for example, in this was way more hack and slash, and the dude was very ranged, like shooting. So you can keep switching between the two, and certain enemies can only be damaged by like they're better damaged by one or the other. But and each one has a health bar, so you're like constantly just like switching and managing. And of course, the gotcha mechanics is getting better characters. Where they eventually want you to pay to like grab these really good characters. But it's for a free game. It was pretty fun, very action packed, very quick paced. The story is kind of whatever, but it was something that I just played it for a little bit just to check it out. This was like a while ago. Like this footage was sitting on my PlayStation. Like I probably played this January 2025. Like it was just sitting on there. I completely forgot about it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Definitely something I'm going to check out again when I have time and like I'm looking for something to play. And it helps that it is free. And it is, I don't know how much content you get for the free part, but it seems like it's at least enough. Like it doesn't seem like they were really, like I was even playing through this, I wasn't really getting bogged down with a lot of buy this, even though it was the beginning of the game.
All right. I will say I want to give a slight impression to PlayStation VR 2 next week. Hopefully I get a chance to actually try it out and report back my feedback on it then. Some of these other shows are probably going to go even more quicker because it wasn't too much, at least for me, it wasn't too much content that I got from it. Story Rich Showcase 2026. This had the host, I did write this person's name down, Spencer Hayes, shout out to you. I literally put on here just nothing, as in I didn't get anything. Not even trying to be negative, but I said just nothing. But yes,
I get it. I was so disappointed because I was really excited for this show. Like I always kind of talk about how like a good story can get me through repetitive gameplay. Like I'm very story driven in like what I want to play. But this, honestly, it felt like it was so focused on story that it was just like you're not even trying to play a game. Like it just all the gameplays just looked very boring, and it was just like, are you into the content for the story? And it just nothing. Cause like I got one game, and this was like really pushing. It was called Ambrosia, where she was like, the games where you're going through and you're trying to clean up stuff. Not like Power Wash Simulator, but the more like 3D, or not 3D, like third person. You're going, or maybe first person, but you're going around and you can clean up things. It was that, but sci-fi, and it looks like it was going to have like monster stuff also coming at you. That looked okay, and that was very towards the end of it, but it was just, I thought I was going to get a lot from this show, and it was just nothing.
Yeah. That's kind of how I was with it, so I just move on. Frosty Games Fest. Frosty Games Fest, another one I didn't really get too much. I will say though, I noticed at this point for all of the titles that were connected to the Game Awards, because they all had like the signature Game Awards thing, and a lot of them were hosted from that stream. They did give more time to write certain titles down. I've noticed that they were kind of freezing it, or just having the name of the title up a little bit longer than normal. Like I don't know if somebody heard some feedback from here at least or whatever, but I did appreciate that from what I saw. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that at all.
It is always nice when they give you time to actually get things down. Because, that's one of my complaints a lot of times for these shows. I actually I got one game out of it, but it was something that I had mentioned from a previous showcase. So it wasn't really new. It was the Box Night game. It showed a little more gameplay for it. It's just a roguelike where you're going through and hack and slashing.
The game that I did get one, and it was more just me wanting to follow the title. It was called Stay Blade. It looks like Beyblades, like if you had those little spinning caps when you're a little kid or whatever, and they're like hitting each other, bouncing off each other. The game looked like that. Um, and so I kind of wanted to just see, this is an interesting concept. You don't really see this anymore. The last time we actually seen a Beyblade type title was actually from the GameCube. I have it on emulation, but I wanted to just at least follow it, see where it goes. And that was really it for that show, to be honest with you.
Can I talk about the game that's on the screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, this one is to be a must get. It is called Dead is Disco. Uh, the footage doesn't necessarily do it justice. It is pure. It's Arkham combat. Like it's endless. Like just kind of the counter. Like they'll like go to hit you and you hit a counter button and then you just do it to like fight. What's
Yeah.
special about this game is that when you start each level, you pick like a song. So there's a bunch of songs in the game, and people have been modding in more songs. But you pick a song and you fight to the beat of the song. So like a lot of the moves you hit is on beat with the song as you move around and do stuff, and it's how many enemies can you beat before the song's over.
Okay, so it's
So it's
more
like
of a survival-ish thing.
sort of. It's like those challenge modes in the Arkham games where you just kind of have like the endless amount of enemies, and they usually either go 3 rounds or they have the ones where you keep going until you get beaten. It's like that, but it's to the song. So it's however long the song is how much time you have to beat people.
Yeah. Okay.
To me, it's a really fun game, especially if you were going for just like I just want more Arkham Combat style games, and it's very easy to just play for a little bit, hear some music, and then like go do something else. Um, and for those of the people who stream, they do have 2 modes of the game. It's streamer mode and like regular, where streamer mode will have unlicensed music, so you don't have to worry about getting like flagged and copyrighted and stuff.
They gotta put some mixtape content in there. You know what I'm saying? All
Yeah,
right.
but well, that's what like people were modding in extra songs and other characters and everything, so they're getting like theme songs for certain shows and uh like different popular soundtracks for stuff, and would like pull the song in there and then like put the character from the movie or whatever in there. So lots of mods and stuff like that. I seen some uh like the Japanese footage stuff. So like a not Power Rangers, but that other one,
Mm-hmm.
Common Rider. They had like Common Rider with Common Rider music and stuff, or like they had the Bye 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 in there, and you could play as Deadpool. With a lot of these mods, but yeah, it's a cool game.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. So let's get to the agenda portion of this show. So the gaming Pride Parade show. I think I said that right because they was trying to be smart with it. And then also, I funny enough, the Wholesome Direct show because I kind of put them right next to each other because I knew they was gonna go there with both shows. And they did. So both shows, I didn't get anything for either one, but I know you got a lot, so I want to make sure you get everything down. Wholesome Direct and gaming or gaying, for however you was trying to say it.
Yeah, I got 0.
Gaming Pride Direct. That's what it's
Uh,
called.
yeah, I
It
got
was a
0 from both of these.
it was a lot of
I will give a
activism and
shout out.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I will give a shout out from the Wholesome one. Is this seat taken? Is coming to PlayStation.
Hmm.
Uh, I did enjoy that game from the Wholesome. It's just a puzzle. Like, you have to like organize all these little shapes where they all have different. Like, I want to sit here, and I don't want to be by this person, or I need to be by this person, and I want to sit under the air. Like things like that. You have to try and figure out the organization. Cool little like just logic puzzle game. Very simple, but it's nice that that thing is still going. But other than that, I got 0.
All right. Yeah, that's kind of where I was with all of that. So, we can switch to one of the last bigger shows that I actually thought had some decent amount of content on here. Future Game Show Summer Showcase. This actually had the hosts. 2 main hosts was Troy Baker. We all know him for practically everything. and then Wilton Renee, or no, I'm sorry, Alex Wilton Reagan. I don't know where I got Renee from. That is the person who is playing Lara Croft in the upcoming Tomb Raider game, or I believe it's 2 titles. And she played a few other people as well. So these were the hosts. They
Wait, for which one?
Tomb Raider.
No, which game show are you talking about?
Future Game Show Summer Showcase.
Oh shoot, did I miss one? I might have missed one.
You missed one? You can't miss this one. This is the only one that really actually mattered. That was from all the secondary ones.
Bro, that was like 14 game show. That would have made it 15.
Miss the future one. You did not miss
Hold
that
up.
one.
Did you post it?
Yes. Ain't no way you missed that one. That's the one where they had actual stuff. And the hosts, real hosts instead of like randos. You missed the future game show?
Probably.
Bro. Oh my god. How you missed that one? That one has some cool stuff. They showed a cool little trailer for the Halloween game. That comes out September 8th, 2026. That is such a stacked month. But shout out to the Halloween game. It looked very, very nostalgic to the movies and stuff. And they made him look a lot more, Michael Myers, a lot more psychotic compared to some of the other titles or other movies at that. A game I wrote down was called Realm of Ink. This is an action roguelike title. $24.99 is actually out right now. They showed content for the Blasphemous 2 game. Very cool indie game. Blasphemous 2, The Third Sin, is actually a free content update with more content, more fights, more all of that. The Sinking City 2, another title that I saw that I wrote down, that has a demo. If you were one of those people that really wanted a third-person Indiana Jones, but also wanted zombies in it as well, that is literally this game. I was kind of looking at it a couple times, like, are they copywriting? But technically, I mean, if you just have a random white guy in the hat with the, he didn't have a whip, but he might as well have had the whip. Everything else was exactly Indiana Jones. But third person Indiana Jones ish, go check that out. That's the Sinking City 2. They had a game called Animal, which I said was a Power World ripoff. That's just my thoughts on that. How dare they rip off Power World? Power World was the original of the monster-ish game. If you into those monster games with a whole bunch of monsters running around, evolving and fighting and doing all that stuff, go check out Animal. Dead Root. You might see a lawsuit coming from SpongeBob for this, I guess, because they took Gary the Snail and then made it a hack and slash game where the snail is hacking and slashing. I don't know how they can get away with that, but that's clearly Gary the Snail from the SpongeBob title. But I wrote that down. I wrote down a game called The Road of Dusk and Sorrow. This is basically a 2D Last of Us, and it does have a demo. I'm so mad at the Steam machine. Like, I was expecting the Steam machine to come out at the PC game show, at least for them to announce the price for it, and they just was radio silent on that. That didn't come out at all. But a lot of these titles is something I just want to play on that, in my little area, in the other area. I don't want to be on the bigger computer with that. But anyways, this is where I said they were spamming the Tomb Raider game like crazy, because they showed it here, but I know they've been showing that Tomb Raider game in so many other shows. Like, that is the game of this showcase. Like, I think last year it was Resident Evil Requiem that was spammed in everybody's show. This year is clearly Tomb Raider, but they showed more of Tomb Raider here for a little bit of
I keep
time.
getting random ads for Tomb Raider too. Just like if I'm not watching with ad blocker on like YouTube and everything, the ad before it is just the Tomb Raider game.
Yeah. But they had because this show was going. They had multiple different versions or different sections. The person who owns the YouTube channel showed up a little bit later and was showing some more stuff. The game called Exodus had some gameplay footage that was showed for an extensive amount of time. The actual game comes out in 2027. In the game, it's more of a cover shooter. There's some shooting mechanics that reminds me of Returnal, and then shooting mechanics that reminds me of Outriders a little bit. Some Gears as well. You also make choices though within the story, so they throw it up there like Until Dawn style or any of those type of games where you kind of just watch it a little bit. Well, you can make choices on what to do, and then afterwards you play the game like a normal third-person shooter. That's Exodus. That's a dope game. Boss fight shootouts in this game as well. So know what you're doing. I wrote down a game called Gemini X. It is basically a third-person Mega Man. For anybody who was hoping that they was gonna make a third-person Mega Man, this is the closest to it. Funny enough, when they cut back to the actual host, who was the owner of this YouTube channel, he even mentioned that as well. He started mentioning Mega Man. Was like, if you wanted Mega Man, you can get this. So any Mega Man fans that was wondering what if, this is your title. Curse Mark. This is more of a top-down action game, somewhat similar to those Vampire Survivor type titles, but you're still hacking and slashing with a little bit more control. That I wrote that down. It had a demo as well. Go check out the demo. And then I think the last thing I wrote down on this, which I think I may have wrote down before, was Barbarian Sage, the Beastmaster, I believe is what it's called. Metroidvania 2D action game. Also coming out on September 8th, 2026. I know it's a lot of games coming out on that day. And it's your typical, probably difficult Metroidvania title. This show was about 2.5 hours. It was a lot of stuff. It was a lot of stuff I would have thought you would have got. Because it was a lot of stuff I was seeing, and I pulled a lot of stuff. But yes, if you didn't see it, I guess we'll just move on. So,
in my defense, in the list of posted,
you watched
in the list
the
of
gaming
posted
show,
games,
the host.
Listen, in the list of posted games, you posted it right after the Green Games one, and it's the exact same green in both of their thumbnails.
Nah.
Out of the list of 15 game shows
You gotta
posted
click on every
back to
last
back,
one.
these two just faded in together.
No excuses, man. This was the show to watch.
Well, then
all the
you should have
other
posted
ones.
this before
This
the
was
PC.
all the shows to watch. We are expecting you to come back with an 8-page apology. All right.
No.
Green Games Showcase. All right. All right. Here's where I get canceled. Okay, because the first thing I said is, where did they find these two old hags? That's all I was saying. I'm like, Green Games. I'm like, where you find these two? Like, this is the most out of place thing I think I had ever seen. Even when they was trying to talk about it, act like they was interested, it was out of place in itself. I'm like, where you find these hags? Who did you do that? Who did you call? Who's elementary school teacher? This is the old school. It's not the new whores or anything. These are the actual elementary school teachers that they should have. It's like, who went and actually got the elementary school teachers from the 90s and brought them here to actually play the game? I'm like, who are these two people? Who are these two? I don't know.
Well, one's an actress.
I ain't had nothing there, but go ahead.
All right, so one of them is an actress, the older like Indian lady. She's an actress. I don't know who the other one was.
Yeah, okay.
One of the things that I did like though.
No, name a movie.
Well, with the theme of it, with it. I don't remember what show she was in. I've seen her in something though.
Yeah.
Anyways, one of the things you threw me off. One of the things that I did like how they broke it down into categories, right? It was just like, this is when they were like a theme of like, this is all about like traveling like the different world. This one's all about the like animal one, things like that. Like, I like how they broke it down that way. And then the 2 games that I got from it, it was the Lumen Tale, Memories of Trey, which is again another Poke Rip. Where they're like, monster catcher. And then it was one called Strange Seed, where you start off as some like little monster thing, and you have to attack other like monsters to like steal like pieces from them to like evolve, essentially. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I
Yeah,
always
never
like
heard
it
of
when
her
they
movies.
support. Always like when they support. What's it called? Like different
Different
charities
what?
and stuff like that. That's what this one was for.
Different genres like The View. They wouldn't grab 2 people from out the audience of The View, and
Okay,
they
hater.
put them on this show.
You're the same age. Calm down.
Don't do me like that. Listen, I need to see the gamer scores. Let's see the gamer tags. I need to pull facts. I need to pull facts. This is
Go
where I
ahead.
need to
Go
pull
try
facts.
it. Go look it up.
I need to pull facts. I don't like where y'all find these 2. I'm just saying. All right. The Upload VR showcase. This is another good showcase ish. You know what I'm saying? Did you watch this showcase?
I did.
You watched this showcase. All right, Upload VR showcase. What do you think about this showcase?
Okay, I got 0 because I ain't got VR.
All right, you've been hating this whole show. Why you hating? You've been hating on everything, man.
Okay.
You've been hating from the beginning. All right, we is not satisfied with you. Me and the audience, we not satisfied. Listen, this game show right here, I had 2 games. One of them was called Jetpack Clankers, where you basically in VR, you doing some Rocket League kind of thing, but it's not with the car. It's just you and the ball, you bouncing it. They going super high up in the air. They dunking the basketball in some cases. They throwing it into the volleyball net and all of that, or soccer net. You know what I'm saying? Dope game. Then they had another one called Interlock. Interlock, you basically breaking away a puzzle lock. It reminds me of some Rubik's cubing and stuff, but you're doing that in VR. I was like, you know what? That's dope. That's dope. What more can I ask for, man? What more can you ask for? And you didn't even care. You didn't even care. Shame on you. Listen. All right. Let's get into.
Okay, real quick, cause I was mad. So the lady from the Green Games thing, she was in Miss Marvel. She played
You
the
googled
aunt,
it. Don't
the
even
villain.
play with me.
Yeah,
You
because I don't
Googled
remember
they
what she
names.
was in.
That don't count. No.
Because I don't remember what she was in. She was in
No.
Miss Marvel.
Y'all
She was
had
in
to Google
Resident,
it.
and she voices a lot of characters in a lot of video games.
I know she's the
She's the
person.
voice in Call of Duty Black Ops 7. She's in
Listen.
Avowed. She voices characters in Diablo 4. She's Symmetra in Overwatch.
She voiced the Eve in Adam and Eve, the origin story.
Because you're trying to say she's
All right,
old.
keep going. What
I
you
get
mean?
it.
What else you trying to say?
She's
You
in
Googled.
Starfield. She's in Fallout 76.
You
Final
Googled it.
Fantasy 7
You ain't know
remake.
none of that
Yeah.
until just now.
Recognize her as I just
You
couldn't remember
Googled
which character it was. You out here saying you
Nah,
didn't
you
even know who they
Googled
were. I said she was an actress. You didn't even know that.
They put that on the screen. They put it on the screen when they put her name
I
out
wasn't paying
there.
attention to that.
They put it on the screen when they put her name out there. I was like,
Okay.
bro, okay. I don't know. They went and found the original elementary school teacher.
All right, moving on.
All right. I'm trying to move on. Listen. We are about to
You
move
calling me a
on.
hater and you out here hating. That's
Listen,
fine.
we moving on to the racist part of the show where we break everything down by race. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter about nothing else. All that matters is that it was race. You know what I'm saying? Let's start with the Southeast Asian Game Showcase. What you like about this one, man?
I
Be
got.
careful with what you say.
Oh my god, I got Muntabi, which was something else that I've already had before listed, which was a grid-based Pokemon game, and then there was this one called CPAC U, which seemed like it was like fighting mixed with soccer, or more like volleyball-ish sort of thing.
All right.
What'd you get?
I just wanted to point out, they have more content for the Giga Bash game, where you get the Ultraman DLC, you know, and they showed the mobile release of this game. They showed off my boy Godzilla. You knew Godzilla had to show up on this part of the show. But yes, and that was really it. I mean,
Why
I just
Godzilla have to show up?
I mean, just say it. It's just
Why
part of the show.
Godzilla have to show up?
He had to show up on this part of the show. I'm just saying.
Why this part exactly?
It was just listen, and that's all I had from this show. That's all I had. Short and sweet.
Okay.
It's all I had to say. Listen, we got to move on to the the Duchess Indie Showcase. This is the showcase, you know, they was missing. I was looking out for your boy, you know, the boy from Zombie Army 4. He didn't show up here. I thought he would. But you know, they showed a lot of other stuff, you know. I wasn't too far into it. I was really looking for boy, we ain't got to say his name. You know, he been
What's his name?
Too. We ain't got to say it. We ain't got
What's his name?
But what did you like from this show? The Duchess, you know, this is the, you know, Germany. You didn't know that, did you? You had to Google it. But
I did. Okay. Anyways, I got. It was called Dino Party. It was like some chaotic, basically Mario Party game.
Okay.
He was playing dinosaurs. That was kind of towards the end. And also the graphics for the first thing shown looked pretty cool, but I couldn't get a sense of what it was about. Everrail.
Okay.
Like it just showed like it was like a subway sort of thing, and it looked like it was crashing, and then a dude that was dressed pretty much like the Doom guy stands out, and then it just says Everrail. So I couldn't get a sense of what it was about, but the graphic looked kind of cool. Like if it's just like you're like, you know, Doom like shooting, I think that's what caught my attention. It was like, oh, is this a shooter? But I don't know. I feel like they could have had a better trailer.
Okay.
What'd you get?
I mean, that was all I had, man. Or I didn't
That's
have
what
anything.
you had? Okay, you didn't have those.
Listen. Before we move on, any statement, because we heard you got the insider on this, man. Where was the Latin people at? There was no Latin show. Where was the Latin people at?
Wasn't there? There was a Latin show.
What is Latin? I mean, unless you want to count some of the other people, there was no Latin people. From what I could see, there was no. I mean, unless you want to scoot them under one of these other ones, there was no Latin.
Oh, because there was a Latin show last week. We already talked about it.
I mean, I'm just saying, man. All right, listen.
We already talked about the Latin show.
We saved
the Latin show came on the same day as the Black Voices show.
Listen, we gotta focus, man. Focus. We saved.
What you mean there was no Latin show? Listen, there was a Latin show.
I saved the best one for last, man. The best one, the Indian game showcase. Boy, they come with it, man. Now you knew these Indians had to stand up. Listen, you jealous. You jealous. They did better than the Latin
really
people.
Not. Is that why you brought this up?
Listen, they did the best.
Latin show. There was a Latin show last week.
No,
we already talked about it. It came first.
The India game show. They came with the heat. They had a strong closing. But listen, the first game they showed was called Project, or the first game I wrote down, Project Fox.
Yeah,
hilariously enough, it looked like Star Fox, but they decided to put the stuff that I like into it. It was a third person. They had hack and slash, and you still get in the spaceship and shoot around. And they had a Megazord at the very end that he hopped in with the fox ears and everything. You ain't see this?
I did. It was the first one I wrote down.
Listen, the Indian people, listen, man. You better have watched this show. This is the show right here. Listen, I wrote down the Cosmic Race. This is something I think you was talking about. I didn't even know the Indians was making this. I didn't know they made this. Listen, the Cosmic Race Galactic Showdown. It has a demo. It's the Tron looking stuff. You could just be soaring in the car. The car kind of flying for a second. You saw that? You saw that?
Yes,
dope.
I saw it.
It's dope. It's dope. They had a game called Fender Shot. It's like a decent, you know, arcade racer. It also got a demo. I mean, it's dope. Dope stuff. Dope stuff. I could keep going for days, but I want you to get your input.
Oh, keep going for days, as in that's the last one you got.
No, that ain't the last one I got. Right. I just want you to keep.
I wrote down. It was called The Last Nighthawk. You're kind of like in a mech, and it was more 2D. But you're like flying through the air, shooting down a bunch of stuff. I thought that pretty much looked cool. The only upsetting part is I don't think The Last Nighthawk is on Steam. It's on some other just random website.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else you got?
Oh, I don't know if you want me to bring it up now, but it was the last game that they showed.
Listen, the last game was a strong closer.
Before we talk about that, what else do you have, Mister? I have a lot.
Listen. Because we'll be here all day. It's
Oh,
almost 2 hours in.
okay. Oh,
And
okay.
I got we was only supposed to talk about the top 2 or 3. You got carried away.
Okay.
So
all right.
we got to keep it going. I'm glad you shortened it under the Wholesome Direct. But anyways, Raju, Kali Yuga, I think is what that's how you say it. Third person action adventure. It got some Hellblade looking stuff going on. You walking around with the torch and stuff. You got some slash combat. You got the boss fights. I was like, yo, they came out with the AAA game at the end. None of these other regions and stuff, none of them had no AAA game. All of them in poverty, all of them paying tariffs. This one right here, bam, they had money. They got money, man. They are over here coming with the heat. I got 2 stars by this. I gotta represent, man. I gotta buy this day one. I got to.
Okay.
I got to, man. I'm trying to play it on the Steam Deck or the Steam machine. It ain't coming yet. I don't know what's going on. I put the stars next to it. I gotta show this one. This one was so good. The gameplay, it was buttery. It was creamy. It was smooth. It had some spice to it. You know what I'm saying? What's your thoughts on this, man? What's your thoughts on this?
No,
this,
look cool.
this
I wrote it
Roger
down too. Very action packed. It was a nice surprise to see something very AAA level looking on one of these shows, because the rest of them honestly was not having it. So that was cool to see.
Man, they had all the top actors from Bollywood over here talking and stuff all through the show and everything, man. I was like, yo, this is dope. This is a dope show. It was a dope show. 10 out of 10. It was the best one out of all of them. I'm just saying. That's it. That's all I got, man. I don't know what else to say. That's the last show. I think we done with the shows. My co-host dropped the ball. He didn't watch the Future Game Show. That one had so many different content. I was like, oh my god, how you missed that one? That was always whenever we do these shows. I ain't miss a show.
You missed the show.
What's the
Day
show?
of the Devs.
I ain't missed that show. We talked about it already. That was when we talked about the Jeff Keighley show. Jeff Keighley.
You talking about Day of the Devs last week?
That came with it. It was in the same feed.
No, I had a separate.
It had a separate one. It was in the same main feed that I post.
Oh, I didn't watch that one when he did it.
You ain't watched this, bro. You falling off. What is you doing, man? Listen, you missing the good stuff too. Every year, the Future Game Show is the main one, cause it's like here's games, no agendas.
I didn't see it, so
and you just didn't see it. That's like the main one to see. I wrote down a bunch of stuff from that. But listen, the Indian one came through. The Latin people didn't. All right, that's the end of the end of the showcase. End of the show. 2 hours in. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll come back next week with some more news, more things to talk about. All right, peace.